Hello, hello, and welcome to Finding the Voices. We are here yet again with another episode of 1001 Thagatchari, Gratitude Project for Manipur. So today we have a very, very special guest speaker, Lien Gangte, joining us from France, who is the director of Providence Foundation in UK. He says he is an optimist and he defined himself with what he does with his life. So let me bring him up in our set. Hello, John Million Gangte. Welcome to our show.
Hi, Monica. Good to see you. Thank you for having me. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We have been planning to have you in our show, and finally it is
Yes.
today.
It's been a while. Yes.
All right. So to start with, how about you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, so my name is John Milin Gangte. I was born in Kangpokpi in Manipur. So basically, I grew up in Manipur till class 12, and then went on to Delhi to do to go to university. And in 2002, I got an opportunity to go to the UK, and since then I have never looked back. So currently I'm a British citizen, and I'm also running a charity called Providence Foundation, which is based in London. And Providence Foundation actually is a charity set up with some friends with an aim to actually look after educational projects based in Northeast India. So right now, we have a project in Manipur, and we are also looking for other projects all over Northeast India, basically.
All right. So, what can you expand a little bit on the initiatives, particularly in Manipur? By your foundation.
So basically, I run a project, an educational project called Kangui Hope, which is based in Kangpupi, of course, and it's a registered charity in Manipur. And we started this journey in 2008 with 3 girls, and this was done with my money. And in 2010 the project became a little bit bigger, and so I started asking for help from friends, and then so we started off with 10 kids. Currently we have 11 kids. We had 12. Fortunately for us, last year one of our boy who was with us since he was class 4, and then he passed his metric exam, first division, so we were very happy about that. And so he's in college now, and then he's been looked after by one of his uncle. And so we have 11 kids who are studying in different schools in Kangpopi and Kaltin Mandi area. So basically what we do is we provide educational expenses to these kids. Most of them are girls. There are a few boys, but then I think we focus mainly on girls because I think in our society we don't value women's or girls' education that much. So I like to actually encourage people to educate their daughters, because at the end of the day, daughters can also be very instrumental in the society. So that's what Kangwe Hope is about. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, that's wonderful. So, you said the foundation mainly focuses on education. So, is it that you sponsor the education for the selected girls and boys?
Yes, we only pay for educational expenses. Apart from one of them, the rest of them are not orphans. We have one orphan boy. He is in the boarding school, but the rest of them have parents.
So,
The
it's
reason
more the
why
economic background.
Yes, the reason
Got
why
it.
we pay for the educational expenses is because a lot of parents, when they don't have the money, they sort of tend to sort of keep education as a secondary matter, and then so they don't send their kids to school. So what we've agreed with these parents is that, okay, we will pay for your kids' education. What you can do as a parent is make sure that they eat food, they wash their uniforms, they do their homeworks, and you do your role as a parent. The only thing we will do is provide you with educational expenses. So that's what we do. So it's about working together with parents and also with the kids. So it's not only we are only working with kids, we are also working with the parents as well.
Got it. Got it. So, how did you first get inspired to do this? And,
So in I started my life in the UK in 2002, and in 2008 I was fortunate enough to get a work permit in the UK, and then for me, working permit in the UK. I mean, it wasn't even in a dream, and for me to get that and to find an employer who would do that for me, I was so grateful. And then, so I spoke to my mom, who was still alive then, and I said to my mom, I said, perhaps this is a gift from God to say that, I'll do this for you and you'll do something else. So at that point, I got inspired to actually pay back to my own community and help kids who can't afford education otherwise. And I think my journey with Kangui Hope is a very personal journey, because I was one of them. I was one of those kids who would be sent back from school, for not paying their tuition fees. And as a child, it was exciting because you don't have to go to school. But then again, it was embarrassing as well at the same time. So the fact that, um, after I've completed my schooling, and then after I've gone to live in the UK, and then coming back to Manipur, and then still finding kids who were actually playing around in the road or in the field or wherever they were during school times, it hurt me. So I decided to actually do something. And there are hundreds of kids I like to help, but then again, my resources are very limited. So that's when I decided to do this project and started off with 10 kids, and then we're going quite strong. And yes.
I think a lot of people think that education is available to all the kids in India, and particularly in the northeast part of
Mhm.
India, in Manipur, but it is not so, right? As you're
It is not so,
stating.
yes. I mean, the sad part about us is like, because I think, what I don't know, what do we blame? Do we blame corruption? Do we blame inefficiency in the system? I don't know. But a lot of the schools that are supposed to be run by the government, or the state schools we call it, are not functioning because they have no kids, or they have no school buildings. Or And this is one of the thing that bothers me a lot, in my life. I think we are so focused on uh, the financial side of life, and we forget the lives of our children and the lives of our people. And so that's why you have a lot of all these private schools coming up. And then, so of course, in private schools you have to pay your fees, and you have to pay your books and your admission fee and everything. And then for a lot of people who are not uh, uh, economically sort of sound, they are not able to pay for that, because it's difficult to pay for the tuition fees when they have to feed their mouth first.
Right.
So I wish that we could take our state school, the government schools, more seriously, so that we don't have all these issues with educational problems.
Right. So the government schools are there, right, in Kangpokpi, but it's not functioning, and hence
I I
more people
I
are
won't
going to
say
the
all of them.
private.
Some of them are functioning, and then a couple of them I would say are not functioning. And then the Kangpopi is not an isolated incident. It's all over Manipur, as we all know. And the problem with us is like there's a lot of teachers who are sitting at home and then getting their salary without even going to school. And this is one of the main sickness we have in Manipur actually at the moment. And then I hope that the government of Manipur and the people who are concerned in these matters will take up some important steps so that we can solve this illness in our society. Uh,
Absolutely.
um, and then a lot of people would not appreciate me talking about this, but then again, uh, I've never shied away from this truth, that because I think if you are actually sitting at home and then earning a teacher salary, I think you're doing yourself, you're not doing yourself a favor, and you're not doing your own people a favor either. So I think we need to stop this practice, and we need to make sure that our government schools are running, and our state schools are running, and then also our private schools are running. We need to prioritize that, the fact that education must come first, to call ourselves a civilized society.
Absolutely. So let me ask you one thing. So the children whom you are sponsoring, are they admitted in private schools?
Yes, For me, one of the reason why I've decided to do this is because I say to myself, I say, let me give these kids. I can't give 100 kids a future, but then I can at least give 10, 15 kids some sort of future, you know. So do I send them to government schools? No, definitely not. I would rather they go to private schools and I pay for the fees. I raise money for their fees and then pay for it, so that at least whatever they learn will be of some use to them in the future. And I'm really sorry to say that I have very little faith in our government-run schools at the moment in Manipur.
Yeah, so the very fact that your first choice is the private school because you want to ensure that the children whom you are sponsoring are getting the good education for them, to go forward and move forward in life.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for bringing up this issue, and thank you for taking it in your own hands to
It's a
bring a
burden. It's a
change.
burden. A personal burden, and then I share this burden with a lot of my friends in Europe. So I'm very happy about that. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, to get to the core of our project for gratitude, let's start with your personal gratitude. To nominate a person, in your personal space, whom you want to show and speak about today.
I think the first person that comes to my mind is my own mother. You know, my mom had a very tough life, and as a lot of people are now aware of the fact that I don't have a father, and I have a father. He is somewhere. I just don't. I'm not in touch with him. Um, so my father is a Meitei. My mom is a Gangte. So my mom decided to raise us single-handedly, and she made sure that we were educated. She made sure that we go to church. She made sure that we were clothed and we were fed. And then, sacrifice her own happiness for us two, her two sons. And so for me, I think if I were to be inspired by somebody, it has to be my mom first and foremost. And I owe whatever I am today to my mom.
This is the picture of your mom.
Yes, that's my mom, and that's my brother that's standing next to her, and my cousin who is the best man. This is my brother's wedding day in Kampu.
Okay. All right. So you said, do you mind elaborating a little bit about your childhood? Because from what I'm understanding is that your mom and your father separated, and your mom raised you and your brother
Yes.
single-handedly.
So of my mom, so my father left us when we were very young, and uh, we don't know much about why he left, and mom would never talk about it because it was a very sensitive issue. So we left it that way, you know,
Of course.
and I think for me, the fact that she worked really hard to provide for us, and she was the father and the mother figure in the family, and then she made sure that we have a home to live in. She made sure that we have food every day, you know, all those things. So I have never found any reason why I should question about my father at all. So I was quite happy with the way I was with my mom and my brother, and of course we had to go through a little bit of bullying here and there, people calling us names and stuff like that. But then, and that's part of our childhood, and then we are through that, and we've come out of all those issues, and then it has been a journey, and it has been a good journey. And sadly, my mom passed away a few years ago, and so right now my only family is my brother and his little family, his 3 kids and his wife and myself. So we are a very small family, and I have no desire to actually go and find out who my father actually is, because it was my mom was very much against it. So I think I would respect my mom in that matter, and then say just keep it as it is, and then I'm happy where I am at the moment. Yeah.
I see. I see. Absolutely. So I'm speechless because of your story.
Please
Yeah,
don't be.
it is hard to kind of digest, the different situations which everybody grows up with, and you're sharing yours now. I'm sorry to hear that your mother is not there anymore, but I can see that she is so much alive in you through your words. So, what would be like, what is that you have learned or the strength from her? Is there anything you can share with us?
I think the fact that, to be true to ourselves and also keep on trying, and just hard work pays off eventually, and things like that. So, and then also to love people, to have a space for other people in us. And my mom always have that. My mom, she would, if she has an extra pair of sleepers, in the house, she would give it to somebody who will need them, things like that. So I think kindness,
Mm,
and then being able to get along with anybody, or trying to get along with as many people as you can, things like that. So all those things, there's a lot of qualities that I'm very proud to say that I've got it from my mom. And yes, definitely, I feel that she's still alive in spirit, and she's still alive looking out for us in a lot of ways. And then um, and people say I look like my mom, so I'm very happy about that.
is this one of the picture?
Yes, that's my mom. That with her first granddaughter. Her name is Eva, and
Eva.
she's 7 years old now. Yes,
So,
yeah.
what's your mother's name?
My mom's name is Chongcha Gangte, and yes.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing about her.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, like some of the things stays in our heart, and I can see definitely the kindness she has instilled in you,
mm.
um,
Thank you.
through your work of your foundation and giving back to the society, educating, and especially picking the girl students. So I'm really happy and proud that you're doing what you can within your own capacity.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so moving on to our next nomination, to nominate somebody at the level of Manipur, whom we are grateful and thankful for.
I think the second person would be so I was in Delhi. I was getting involved with the cookie worship service, and I think religion and faith is very much a part of me. And so uh, as I was getting along with my fellowship activity in Delhi, and the chaplain of cookie worship service, then Reverend Dino Totang, he initiated this opportunity for me to go to the UK. And I think I would nominate him because I think me going to the UK was one of the best things that could have again, that could have happened in my life, because it was hard. It was not an easy journey to move to another country, adapt to a new culture, a new tradition, and everything. But eventually, it made me realize what I want to do in life, and then also the fact that living in the UK for a few years and then eventually becoming British, I am now in a position where I can help my community back in Manipur in a more efficient ways. And then all these things were made possible because Reverend Dino saw something in me, I guess. So he gave me the opportunity to go to the UK to do this voluntary work and to figure out what I want to do in life. And then I think um, I I somebody said to me, you are smart, you're this, you're that, but why didn't you become somebody? This, it was like a joke. But then I think I don't think I'm, how do I put this? People expect you to become a civil servant. People expect you to become a doctor or this or that. But I think where I am at the moment, I think I'm quite happy with the way my life has planned out, and the fact that I'm able to give back something to my own community in Manipur. So that is what success means to me. And then the fact that Reverend Dino initiated all this, I owe him a lot. And then my gratitude after my mom, Reverend Dino, would have the second highest gratitude from me. He's
Wow.
from Churchandpur.
He's from Jerusalem. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a picture, but Reverend Dino Tautang, who is he right now in Chirachandpur?
I think he's in Delhi. Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. So he has been a big influence to you,
Yeah.
and I'm sure to many people in elevating their life and
He's
being a.
somebody who would look beyond communities, beyond uh, families, and beyond tribes, and all those things. And then he was more than happy to help us out, and then I'm eternally grateful to him.
Yeah. So, what was the initiative that you had, the opportunity to come to UK?
So basically, I was recruited through an agency called Care Force, a charity, a Christian charity called Care Force. And then so Care Force was a Christian charity who would bring a lot of young people from all over the world, and then they would give them placements in the UK. So my first placement, my first year in the UK, I was in a church in South Wales, working with kids, doing children club and lunch clubs and all those things. And then I had the best time of my life, and I I guess I've never looked back. So
Wow. So, what is the difference, since you are working in a lot of this initiative with students and children? What is the main difference you see, in children over there in France and with your initiative and children over, back in India and in Manipur?
I think children are children. They are all different. They are all growing up. They have their own minds, and then the way they are brought up is different, of course. And then so with my role as a charity worker, and then my involvement with schools and children in Manipur, people usually say to me, "Oh, why don't we have a session on European teaching, in Manipur?" I said, "No, we shouldn't really, because I think we are not European kids. European schools and institutions will educate their children according to their own, theory, and then we will have to look our kids and our children in Manipur as Manipuri, and Manipuri children and Manipuri school kids." And then I don't think there isn't much difference. They're all growing up, they're all finding their ways, and then it's just that they have more opportunity here in the Western countries, and they have more uh, um, room to breathe and room to flourish, and to find out what they actually wants to be. And back in Manipur, I think our schools and our education institutions are so exam focused. We have to memorize everything. We have to our target is that how many percentage you get at the end of the year. That's the biggest target. And then um, I think I have been actually doing quite a few workshops in Manipur in the last couple of years. One of the workshop I do is with students on communication skills, and also basically generally confidently speaking English, and
Mm-hmm.
improving their conversational skills. And then also with some schools, I have started a workshop with teachers called 7 Basic Principles of Good Teaching Practices. And it has been very interesting, I would say, as to how we see, even for teachers, we see our job as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers here in Europe and the teachers back in Manipur are completely on a different wavelength. So I'm trying to build that bridge, bridge that gap, I would say, and see how we can actually at least focus on the basic principles of good teaching practices in Manipur. I'm not trying to convince the schools in Manipur to adapt to European teaching styles, no. But then I'm just trying to help them get the principles, the basic principles.
Interesting. So, I think I got your comment on the word interesting. So, do you mind sharing and elaborating a little bit on your interesting notes, what you see with your observation on teachers in Manipur?
I think, in my experience, I've seen, say, for example, um, say, so let's say homework. So I asked the teachers, if a child comes back to you to the school the next morning, the next day without their homework, whose fault it is. So some of the teachers were very happy to point out to me that it's the children's fault, because of course they didn't do their homework, it's their fault. But then they fail to see that, perhaps as a teacher, if I'm giving my students some homework, it if they come back without homework, I need to find out the reason why instead of pointing my fingers on them straight away, and in some of the schools, I think the parents are working in the fields in the mountains, and they have
Mm,
no education background. And so, as a school, the teachers doesn't do the homework first. So,
mm,
what I mean by teachers doing their homework is because they need to find out who their children are, who their students are first, who their parents are, the parents of these students are. Because if the parents are not educated enough to help them with homework, how on earth is the kids going to come back to school with their homeworks? So also, some teachers are giving homeworks from the next lesson, not from the lesson that has
mm.
been taught.
Interesting.
So this is my personal experience. So when you homework is supposed to be revising what you've learned that day, not focusing on what you're going to learn next day, because the new lessons are supposed to be the teacher's responsibility. Students' responsibility is to make sure that they have understood what has been taught. They have understood what has been said to them that day. So for me, homework has to be uh, easy, enjoyable, achievable. And it has to be fun. It has to motivate students to work at home. If you give students a difficult homework, they're not going to get motivated. So when the student comes back, if you give them an easy homework that is achievable, that is enjoyable, then they come back to school the next day. They'll be very enthusiastic about their homework. Sir, I've done my homework. So, but if they are unable to do their homework, that's where the motivation finished. They will not want to come to school again. They will not want to see the face of the teachers because they haven't done the homework. So there's a lot of factors involved, even in a small topic like homework.
Right.
And um, we have been, my workshops are, I would say, I'm very, very proud to say that my workshops are working, and there's been a lot of interesting conversation with teachers as well. So, and some of the schools are waiting for me to go back to Manipur. So hopefully when I go back, I'll do more workshops.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely so interesting. And thank you for sharing because, you're starting the conversation.
Hmm.
And it's nice that, it's an opportunity for teachers also to learn from different aspect of education all over the world
Yeah.
and expand and tweak it, to fit into our society. And like you said, very interestingly, to go beyond the classroom,
Yes,
because
definitely.
that makes a lot of difference. Yeah, thank you.
And
So
and one
interesting. Yes,
one more
go.
thing is that so in most of the schools I've seen during recess time,
Mm,
uh, the teachers are confined in their staff room and the kids are playing alone. And so
mm-hmm,
I'm trying to encourage the teachers, look, please don't confine your teacher-student relationship only in the classroom. Make
mm-hmm.
sure that you interact with them outside your classroom. Make sure that you build a relationship, because the more you build your relationship, the more you interact with them outside your classroom, the easier your lessons will be, you see.
Yes.
So and the thing is, I've worked in a school in London, in Westminster, for about a year and a half, and I've picked up some trainings and I've picked up some good practices from those schools, and this is what I'm trying to give back to Manipur. Trying to say to people that, look, let's not adopt European teaching style, but let's focus on some of the principles that every teacher should have.
Right. And also, um, I think like generally when I grew up, right, in Manipur, for
Hmm.
the most part, the teaching, we were a little bit scared of the teachers, right?
Hmm.
So it would be mostly a download from the teacher to the student. The
Yes.
student were not given much opportunity or were not encouraged or we
Mm.
were not very confident of speaking up of the answers. The teacher would come and
Exactly.
teach, 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 teach.
Mm.
And I think we can see that when we come out, the confidence level in us, right, in
Oh,
speaking, in
yes.
public speaking, and you
Absolutely.
see other students from other places, they would not hesitate to raise their hand, to
Mm-hmm.
answer anything, even if the answer is wrong. So
Mm.
definitely, I think that's an area which, we as the community need to improve and work on so that we come up at the world global level. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm so happy with your initiative.
Mm. One of the thing I encourage the teachers is that please encourage your students to challenge you. You know, because if they have opinions, Students without opinions, they are not good students. They need to have opinions. They need to have point of views, that they need to challenge your, capability as a teacher as well. The thing is, when some of the teachers, they don't like being challenged, they don't like being questioned by their students. So students are not actually encouraged to raise their hands
Hmm.
and ask questions in a lot of schools in Manipur. I will say not a lot, because I am sure some of the schools are practicing these good practices, and then I don't want to stereotype the whole educational system in Manipur. But then my experience in some of the schools, teachers are really not welcoming students' questions and opinions and stuff like that. And we need to actually encourage students to speak up and voice their opinions in classrooms. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for sharing. All right, so just on a time check, I love this conversation about students and teachings.
Me too. I can go
That's
on
one of
and
my
on.
favorite. But yeah, let's move on to the last and final nomination for gratitude at the global level.
So I think so. Since I've taken up a lot of projects that has to do with Manipur, I won't say one person, but I would say uh, an organization who shares my point of view and who shares my vision is the European Manipuri Association in the UK, and they have been very supportive of my work in Manipur, and they are the ones who would actually encourage me to go ahead and do things and then speak to people and stuff like that. So yeah, um, I I value my association with them. I value my connection with them, and I hope that it will continue. And I hope that we will be able to do more in the future. The European Manipuri Association is a group of people from Manipur all over Europe who comes together and form this organization. We have get-togethers, we have Chakoba, we have Yausa, no, annual gathering and stuff like that. And then we just talk about stuff. How can we improve Manipur as a state, and how can we improve the lives of the people living in Manipur? So I would say IMA has been definitely behind a lot of my works in Manipur, and I'm eternally grateful to them for being such a good support. And then yes, I would nominate them big time. So uh, I usually organize a marathon, Southern Hills Run, and so since the beginning of my first run, IMA has been the biggest supporters in terms of financial sponsors. And if I want to do something for the kids, they would help me out. If I want to do something for the run, they will help me out. So they've been 110% behind me. So I'm very grateful to them.
Yeah, is this the correct picture I'm pulling up?
Yes, this is the one of I think I'm the photographer in this one, so you won't see me in this photo. So, so yeah, it's a fun group. We eat, we sing songs, and we just like literally loads and loads of. It's like a gathering for food. Actually, it's just the most amazing thing. And I'm a foodie myself, as you can see on my Facebook page. I love cooking, I love eating, and oh gosh, yes,
All right, so European
Manipuri Association.
Manipur Association. All right.
Mhm.
So no, that's very interesting that you have nominated, the whole group at the global level, because it's important to highlight how the community at each of this country where, people from Manipur come together. And
Mhm.
as you have mentioned, they support your work, they support your initiative, and it means a lot to have a backing of the community behind you. So
Yes, definitely.
absolutely.
Mm.
And as you have nominated IMA, which is
Mm.
European Manipur Association, I want to share a quick story about myself. So, one of the first project which I ever had, for involving the public was just after I started working way back, and
Mhm.
it was called IMUL, Ima Ipa Mitna Ubalaini. So
I
it was
see.
a point, yeah, it was a point where I realized about the importance of parents and how much of sacrifices, they uh, give up to educate us. And it was the sudden realization, like during teenagers, of course, you have like all this confused moment. And at that
Mhm.
point of time, I was profound, with the feeling, with deepest profound feeling about the parents' involvement and their sacrifices. So I had started awareness about Imul, stating that, okay, we should be thankful to our parents and things like that. And that was the first initiative I had, wherein we had a competition on essay writing,
I see.
involving some students in the schools and things like that. And you won't believe, Ima had actually sponsored at that time. And
Hmm.
and that meant a lot to me. So I just wanted to take this opportunity
Yes,
as you're
exactly.
bringing it up and
Yeah.
being very supportive to my
Mm.
very first project, Imai
Mm.
Pamit na Ubalaini. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Thagatchari Ima.
Yeah. It's a very forward-looking organization, so I'm very pleased that I'm part of it. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So what I want to do is, since we are at a time, I just want to go through the pictures which you have sent, and you can just give a commentary on those pictures.
Hmm. So this is the school, a school in Kangpokpi where we visited with some of my friends from France. One of the thing I do is I invite friends from Europe who wants to come and do something in the schools, and then so we had a very successful interaction with the students of class. I think they were 11 and 12, I think, and this is a group photo taken by one of the school teacher,
Wow. Okay,
and
this
that's my
is your
mom.
mom.
And this is another school we visited with my friends from France in Montbon called the Apex Christian High School, and the kids were very happy to come and stand with us and take some pictures. And we visited a couple of classes on this day, and then we just had an interaction with them. And this is another initiative I did. We had a career seminar, choosing the right pathway, something like that. And then I was one of the spokesperson, and then I had Daniel Ningtiemcha. He is a friend from London. He is an IT guy, very successful and very good heart, I guess. And the one with the white top is Rodi Gangte. She's just finished. She's from Churchanpur, and she just finished her MSc in Public Health from the London School of Tropical Medicine. So all of us were together at the same time in Manipur. I said, look, nothing things like this doesn't happen all the time, so let's get together and let's see if we can organize something for the school. So we went back to the same school called Keti Higher Secondary School, and we organized a career seminar, and we talked about working in charities and IT and public health. So one of the latest project I have now is an environmental awareness project in Manipur, and I think this is such an important thing for us at the moment. And then, so to start all these things off, I approached one of the charity in Kangpokpi who has a big piece of land, and then I said, why don't we convert some of the land into a community park, so that kids can come and play, kids can come and walk around, and things like that. So I've been, apart from my educational projects, I've also taken up this project, and then I'm starting to build, uh, not alone, with the help of Ima, of course, and with a lot of friends in London, Europe, and all over the world. Whoever wants to participate, they are more than welcome. And so with a lot of support from friends, we are actually in the process of creating a community park in Kangpokpi, and this will be a green space for all of us, for all the community, to just go and breathe fresh air.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
So I was running, I was doing a Sadar Hills Run 2018. So the total distance was 14 kilometers. So now after we all came back to the public ground to finish off the run, I made a little speech, and I encouraged the young people to be environmentally aware and friendly. And so I say to the kids, we are all tired, but please, please, let's do one more thing. So I asked all the runners to walk around with a bag and then pick up all the rubbish in the public ground in Kangpokpi. And then, despite running 14 kilometers, they did it, and I was so impressed. I was so happy. Uh,
Wow.
So I had
Yes,
770 plus runner this year, and then
170.
yes.
Wow.
So the Southern Hills Run journey started off in 2013. I paid with my own money, and I had 44 runners. And so this is the fourth time we are organizing this, and from 44 runners to 170 plus runners, we've come a long way, and
Yeah,
we have managed to instill that quality in the kids, that long distance is good for you, running is good for you, and also at the
right.
same time we can go and clean the public ground. That was the most
Yay.
amazing thing. I was very happy with the kids. Yeah.
Right. So you do it every year?
Yes, I try. I missed 1 year, but then I've been able to do it every year. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I would love to come and join your run
of course,
someday.
you're more than welcome. Definitely, please come. This is the group picture of Southern Hills Run 2018, and I
Look at the
think it
number
has.
of participants. Wow,
Yeah,
look at that.
it has been it's becoming an annual event now, and then the winners are going places. The one of the girl who has been consistently winning for the last few years, she's training under Mary Com Boxing Academy, and uh, one of the boy last year he went on, and he's now training under Isol FC, and then the winner this year, he is training to become a 400-meter runner in Manipur. So he's training very hard. So yeah, so kids are coming up, kids are using this as a
Yeah.
platform, and I'm very happy to be part of this. Yeah. So the park itself, the community park, it's a park. My concept is that I want to build a community park built by the community. So I don't want to be the one raising all the money from Europe, from US, and then just pulling uh, giving the money to build the park. No, this is going to be the park built by the community for themselves. And this particular picture, is the staff nurse of Kangpupi Mission Hospital doing their little bits, of
Wow.
making sure that the park is done.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with your concept that,
Mhm.
the community has to step forward to build up the
Exactly.
community and you have to be a part of it.
Mhm.
Absolutely. This is so inspiring. Look at you sitting there in France and doing all this back in Manipur.
This picture, it was done in was done yesterday. Actually, I just received this
Oh,
picture.
okay.
Yeah,
I
so
see.
I
So,
don't have to be there. The people are getting
right.
so pumped up at the moment for this park, and then I'm really
Absolutely.
happy that. So that's why I cannot take all the credit. Of course, I've started this project, but then people are there. People are taking this forward in their own little
I
ways, and
know
I'm very
that's
happy
the
about
thing I love about it. When people talk about Manipur, the media, of course, is doing a good job about conflict and things like that. But I want to show, such inspirational story where
Exactly.
the community is coming together and building our
Yeah.
community. Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
awesome! It absolutely gives meaning to our platform, to finding the voices. So really, really thankful that you are sharing such
Thank you.
initiative.
Mm.
All
Again, this is
right.
the cleaning of the park and the ground.
The ground, yeah, and you have absolutely, great ideas to inspire and let the people pick up and do things like,
Mm.
like after the run, you are giving ownership to them to have a clean playground and letting them clean up. So absolutely, this is so fun. All right. So, is there anything else you want to add? And I want to quickly go through some of the comments from our listener.
Can I just add something? Just
Yes,
one thing.
sure.
I went to trek the Kobru Mountain, this time, and I like to use this platform to encourage the people who goes to Kobru to make sure that we don't misuse the serenity out there. I was very disappointed to actually see that there were loads and loads of plastic bags and papers and tin fish cans and bottles and stuff on the top. And then for me, I think Kobru actually, for the Meitei community, it's a spiritual place. Yeah, even for the cookies villages around Kobru. it has also now become a place of prayer and stuff like that. Now spiritually we want to connect with this place, but then again physically we are doing so much to destroy the image. And then we took 6 hours to climb Kobru. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I got there, I was so upset with what I saw. And I asked, we were six of us, and I asked these kids, please, I know we're all tired, but then we need to clean. So we end up cleaning Kobru as well. But I think it's not about me cleaning Kobru, but then I
Right.
think you will go one day, I'll go again another time, a lot of people will go. And then I want to use this platform to appeal to the people of Manipur that please, when you go to Kobru, please, if don't leave any rubbish behind, put it back in your sack or in your bag somewhere, and then bring it back and dispose it off somewhere else. Let us make sure that Kobru stays clean, Kobru stays beautiful and serene, as it's meant to be. And then let's not cut trees. Let us not cut trees, people of Manipur, because we talk about landslides and floodings and stuff like that, and then we keep on cutting trees, we keep on deforesting. And we are our own enemies at the moment. So we need to really look after our surroundings, our environment, our mountains, our hills, and our rivers. So that's my personal appeal to the people of Manipur, especially to people who goes to Kobru. Let us make sure that that place stays secret as it was meant to be.
Absolutely, yeah. The concept of littering has to be instilled in our mind that, we don't
Right.
litter things in all the places, all the beautiful places we go. We can be a part of the beauty by taking care of it, right?
Mhm.
So, absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you for that message. All right, so let us go through some of our comments from our viewer and listener. And thank you, everyone, for being a part of the show. All right, so we have a comment from Dr. Jugendra Sorokhaibam. Nice to hear this discussion with Lien, educationists. I believe should teach children how to think and give them techniques to do that rather than simply giving information. I was never taught how to think in my entire schooling and in my professional education. All right, and we have another comment from Singhajit Ningthojam. Nice to see you, John Millian, in the show. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with your foundation. You are doing a great job for the young minds. What are the differences in the mode of education in India and France? How do you want to change the present scenario of education in Manipur? Do you want to quickly answer to that?
I think changing the scenario of education in Manipur, I think I have a plan now. I have a plan with a couple of friends who are living in Delhi and a couple of friends who are living in London. I'm trying to actually put together a few manuals, and then see if we can convince the government to help us as well, so that I can go and spend more time in Manipur and visit more schools and do more workshops with teachers, and make sure that we get the basics right, when we are teachers. These basic principles of good practices, if we get this right in all the schools in Manipur, I think this will be a very good start. And we want to do this. And then right now I'm in the process of putting together a few things, so that when, perhaps, I hope sooner, but whenever I go back to Manipur, I'll see if the local authorities or the government of Manipur can maybe back us and get involved with us, and then see if we can take this further and all over Manipur, not only concentrated in Kangpopi area, because at the moment, financial limitations and then also transport limitations means that I have to limit my activity only in my area. But then again, I think if I have a little bit more help or backing from somewhere else, from the government, I would love to maybe tour the entire Manipur with the little knowledge I have, and make sure that the teachers in all our private schools or the government schools are aware of the basic principles. And this is my personal sort of vision that I've set out for Manipur in the coming years. Yeah.
Yay! No, that's good that you are
Mm,
there. You are a good resources, and
mm.
I'm sure and I'm hoping that a lot of policymakers are watching our show and be inspired to take the opportunity and use you as the resources.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm more than welcome. They can get in touch with me, and then anything I can contribute. And because the thing is, I talk so much about Manipur. All my friends in London, England, they're like, do you think you only exist for Manipur? It's not about, I don't only exist for Manipur, but then I think the thing is, I feel that I was born in Manipur, so I think I feel the need to do something for my own hometown, my
Absolutely. Yeah,
homeland. So
giving
yeah,
back to the community, a great
exactly. So,
example you're setting. All right. And we have Busho Rajkumar watching our show. Thank you.
yes.
And we have Bish Langbam saying,
This
great to see
Dr.
you.
Bis is one of the biggest supporter of my vision, and we share so much in common. And then I'm very grateful to have him as a friend, to have him as a supporter. And then this, thank you. I'll see you in London at some point.
Right. And he acknowledged, about what you spoke about the community garden, the
Yeah.
person behind the first community garden developed by their own community. Yay. This is awesome. So with that, we are coming to the closer of our show for today. Is there anything else you want to add before we end the show?
Stay positive, people of Manipur. We have a long way to go, but we'll get there someday. Sooner.
All right. Yes, we will with people like you. We
We'll get
will.
there very soon, yes.
So thank you, Lien,
Thank you,
so much for
Monica. Thank you
taking
for
the
this
time.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, it has been such an inspirational conversation with you. I'm so happy to hear so
Thank
much
you.
of your initiative, and I look forward to be a part of it in some way in your initiative. So thank you for your time. Keep
Okay.
doing what you do.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
All right, so that was such an inspirational episode, don't you think so? Like, for somebody who is sitting over there in France and initiating so many things for the community back in Manipur. So I'm so thankful for all of you to be watching our shows, and I invite you to come up here in our stage and share. Let's build more positivity into our community by sharing all the positive initiatives, sharing our gratitude in our 1001 Gratitude Project of Manipur. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a wonderful day today. Thank you.